Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here on such short notice. We really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. And with that, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Please be seated. Our city secretary, we have a quorum this evening. All council members are present. Proof of notice of meeting, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Notice of this meeting was posted at 9 p.m. on April 30th, 2026.
Great, thank you. City secretary, do we have any public comments?
We do, Mayor. We have Oscar Cobos from Ward 5 to talk about water issue.
Okay, so Oscar, just come on up to the podium. You know the routine. State your name, your ward. You have 3 minutes. Council can't respond.
It's always a pleasure to be here for the people. City manager, council, everybody here. Yes, I thank you all for putting this meeting together for 3 o'clock today, emergency meeting. I wish there was just a little bit more awareness, I guess, for the people out there. To make a long story short, I had sent a couple of councilmen commissioners a webinar that was coming up for on infrastructure, water infrastructure and grants. So ways to be updated and all that, what might be available. At times we missed it, but just wanted to say something right quick. I'm not sure, I haven't kept up to this particular point in the issue of water. I wanted to mention right quick that hopefully, and I'm gonna keep looking into this, that there's a resolution that is being passed by city and county interlocal agreement to ban any artificial intelligence data centers that could come into the area of Brewster County with so much rangeland that's not even being used. I hope we take that step ahead in this water issue right now. This ain't no time for all this high-tech business with a high consumption of water and electric power that wants to slip into Presidio County. And there's a possibility somebody could do a moonlight sale from a ranch here. So let's keep that in mind for an interlocal agreement to ban all artificial intelligence data centers in here in the area. Because one, make a long story short, Ted Cruz, your senator, is determined to stop all regulation in Texas against AI. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, there are no public hearings, no presentations and recognitions, no proclamations. Community interest items. I'm going to read a statement to the citizens, constituents of Alpine. So earlier this week, as Wednesday, when it had occurred, the city of Alpine experienced an unexpected mechanical failure at municipal well number Roberts 3. The well is one of our older and productive sources of water, and its sudden failure has created a significant strain on our overall water supply. While our remaining wells do continue to operate, they cannot fully meet demand on their own. I want to be very clear. This is a serious situation, but it is one that we are prepared to manage. At this time, water remains safe to drink and service continues across the city. Our goal is to keep it that way. The failure of this well represents an immediate threat to public health and safety, and that is why we have called this emergency meeting. Texas law allows cities to act quickly in situations like this. And at this meeting, we will be authorizing emergency measures to protect our community's water supply. Our staff, engineers, and well specialists are already working to determine whether the well can be repaired. If repair is not possible or not fast enough, we are prepared to move forward with other options. We will also take any temporary steps necessary to stabilize the system, including supplemental pumping or short-term conservation measures. I want to reassure the residents the city is acting swiftly, responsibly, and transparently. We will continue to provide updates as we work through this emergency, and we will keep the public informed every step of the way. Alpine is a resilient community. We have faced challenges before and we have always come through them together. Tonight's actions are about protecting our residents, safeguarding our essential services, and ensuring that Alpine continues to have a reliable and safe water supply. Thank you. All right, so there will be no changes to the posted agenda since we only have one item on there, so no time sensitive, no consent, no reports or presentations, information or discussion items. We're moving straight to our action item. And city manager, if you would please read that.
So action item A, pursuant to Texas Government Code, section 551.045, an emergency meeting is called regarding an urgent public necessity creating an imminent threat to public health and safety due to the municipal water well and distribution system disruption and discussions of matters related thereto. Approved resolution declaring an emergency related to municipal water supply failure, authorizing emergency procurement pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 252.022, and authorizing the city manager to take all necessary actions to protect public health and safety, including repair or replacement of municipal well infrastructure and related services.
I need a motion. I need a second.
Second.
Okay, discussion, city manager, start us out.
So the purpose to declare an emergency related to a municipal water supply failure and authorize emergency procurement and response actions necessary to protect public health and safety. The background is the city staff identified a critical mechanical and or infrastructure failure at one of the city's municipal water wells, resulting in a significant reduction in available water supply. This well is one of the city's primary production sources, and the failure has placed increased strain on the remaining system and threatens the city's ability to maintain adequate water pressure and meet daily demand. The situation presents an imminent threat to public health and safety, including the potential for reduced fire flow capacity and the risk of boil water notices if the system pressure declines further. Immediate action is required to stabilize the system and maintain essential water service. Under the Texas Local Government Code 252-022A, the city may procure goods and services without standard competitive bidding when necessary due to a public calamity, to preserve or protect public health and safety, or due to unforeseen damage to public property. Based on legal guidance, this situation meets all applicable criteria, allowing the city to proceed with emergency procurement measures. And the recommendation, staff recommends that city council declare an emergency related to the municipal water well failure, authorize the city manager to execute emergency procurement for repair or replacement of the affected well, drilling of a new well if necessary, and procurement of engineering, testing, and related services. Authorize emergency expenditures necessary to respond to the situation and ratify any emergency actions already taken to address the water supply issue.
Okay, great, thank you. So yesterday, the city manager, our utilities director, Mike Macias, John Skinner, myself, the county judge, Greg Hennington, Kira was also there, and our new assistant,
Ashley.
Ashley. And so it is not a amount of water issue. We have plenty of water. It is an infrastructure issue. The newest wells were built in the 60s. Okay, that's almost 60 years old. Enough said right there. So this has been pushed and pushed and pushed for decades. And finally, for future generations to deal with, well, we are the future generation here left to deal with this situation. So we have critical infrastructure failing there right now. Elsewhere, probably, who knows, pretty soon, because it's all pretty old. So with that, several things were brought up. Mr. John Skinner has ordered a pump and is going to try putting in another pump. There's already 3 to 4 pumps that he's added to this particular well, so we're not sure that that is even going to be the solution. It may not even work. The pump's going to be on his doorstep tonight at 8 p.m. Tomorrow he's going to go and he's going to see what he can do and see if it works. So we have to have contingency plans. What are we going to do if this doesn't work? What are we going to do if the casing in the well collapses and then we have no water? This especially affects the west side of Alpine. Right now, the Muskies wells are running, functioning. They've been band-aided, but they're going. It's the west side. If we want our neighbors on the west side to continue to have water to turn on, we've got to do something. Okay, that's the situation that we were in. We also have about 300 customers outside of the city limits that get city water. So it's not just people in the city limits that need to conserve. It's anybody who is getting city water. Okay, we looked at other solutions. Councilmember Ruckus came in and was talking with our engineers yesterday afternoon on speakerphone with myself and the city manager about different solutions such as that $1 million booster pump that has never been operational. And we had discussed maybe having a fast line there to be able to pump water into the upper tank. But the engineers are not sure that's going to work because of gaskets and seals and it hasn't been turned on. So they're not sure if we should waste our time on that. Councilmember Ruckus will speak more probably to that in a moment. The other option is to have a tanker truck move water from Moose Keys to the west side of town. We have already received the temporary permit necessary to do that. Our emergency services department and Tatum, James Etchison, our Tatum coordinator, has already gotten approval for their fire truck to do this because it meets all the sanitary conditions that are necessary. And the water would be chlorinated before it's distributed out to the public. So that's one viable option if the pump fails. The other thing is we need a new well. We have to have a new well. We need to drill a new well. As in yesterday, we needed to start drilling a new well. Okay, so that's the main topic of conversation for council is getting a new well. Normally you have to go out through all the bidding processes and that could take 2 months, 3 months. It can take a little while, but we need to start now. So with our emergency situation, we are able to do that. We are able to start now without having to go through all those steps that are needed. The other option is to use the Cartwright well, and we've already been in contact. Mr. Skinner's been in contact. Councilmember Ruckus has been in contact. I believe Mike is going to go out and talk to Kathy Cartwright too about using the well. It came out of service in 2018, and it should be easy to get that approval through TCEQ. So that will be another option. So we are looking at options so that we can make sure that the west side continues to have plenty of water. Hopefully keep the boil water notice off the table and just to do what we need to do. But the time has come. We are the future generation. The can has hit the wall, if you will, all these little sayings that you might want to say. But it has been, these things should have been repaired decades ago. And it's time now. All right, so, Councilmember Ruckus. All of it.
Okay, so I had the pleasure of talking with Mr. Skinner, John Skinner. I think it was yesterday morning. He's given me some ideas on doing a temporary dedicated line up to our upper tank from what we're calling our $1 million pump that I guess is coming up on 20 years old. Spoke with our engineer about it yesterday. To me, it seemed like a viable option, but there was unknowns to me on how viable and how short-term we can get that going. Unfortunately, with our SCADA being over 15 years old, going into that, it's not a variable pump. It's going to pump about 1,200 gallons a minute. We don't know if the seals are good. We don't even know if it's going to truly fire up. So with that, so many unknowns, we don't think that it's money well spent when we can expedite getting the well into the ground. Mr. Skinner had told us that he'd be willing to do it, but with us excavating it and everything, trying to get it to where it's a permanent solution for our southeast pressure zone issues, we're trying to, and then obviously it's also going to help us with our west side as well, by getting water up to our upper tank from our lower tank. So we're going to continue to go the permanent solution and try and start expediting that, which is going to be a very dedicated line up to the tank, making a penetration to the bottom of the tank. and a lot more semantics. So that brought us to what can we do temporarily? That's where we got with our EMC and our fire chief, James Etcherson, for permission to shuttle water, and then started looking into what the laws and regulations were on expediting a well, which John Skinner had also said that he is interested in doing for us. So we figured that with the amount of money we're gonna have to do to correct this, that would be a better solution going forward, because it's laying a better foundation for permanent solutions, if you will.
Councilmember Portillo?
No, I mean, other than this has been going on for a long time and I can't understand. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around how nothing's ever been done. And I'm pretty upset about all this on why now, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been telling previous council, city managers, everybody that this was going to happen, and look where we're at. But I'm glad that at least it's now brought forward to our attention and we are going to do something about it finally. I'm just sorry that, to the people that it's taken this long, And that's it.
Okay, Councilmember Martinez?
I agree with Council Portillo. We need to get this fixed done and, I trust the city manager 100%. We had him because of all his expertise and his guidance, so he has a lot of experience in city government and finance, and so we have to do what we have to do. So this being holding for so long, we are very new in city council. I don't know why they've been waiting to this situation, that now the people, they blame us, the city council, because we didn't fix it, but we're new. So we're trying to resolve. So I think we need to move forward, whatever money needs to take, and then I trust 100% the city manager of his decisions.
Councilmember Escobedo?
I'm agreeing with everybody, we need to move on with this and it needs to get fixed. I don't, being on city council before, I don't remember these things being brought up, of these situations. But I do know John and they do a very well good job, so.
Councilmember Stevens?
Thank you, Mayor. So I have a lot of questions. First, let me say, we need to go do this. There's no question about that. We need to put a new well in and get over with. How we get there and what our plan is beyond that. You never want to let a good crisis go to waste. And we're in a crisis. Let's understand, how did we get here? So we understand what our plan is after we get this well fixed. So let me kind of rattle through my questions. The Cartwright well, do we have any idea what's going to cost if we were to follow that option? Does anyone? Okay, so that in my mind, that is something in my mind needs to come back to council, because I've heard some numbers about the price per gallon, which is off the charts compared to what we're currently charging residents. So I'm not sure that well makes good sense.
You did get the information from her, 5 cents per gallon, 5 cents per
That's
gallon.
15 times what we currently pay.
And first of all, Mr. Skinner will have to put a camera down that well to make sure it's even.
Viable.
Yeah,
I got that. No, I'm just looking at when it comes time, and if we were to go that path, that well, in my opinion, is not cost effective at all. And I would not be in favor as a council member for burdening our residents with the cost of a nickel per gallon. So I just want to get that on the table as an item to go work. Okay, should we choose to go down that path? Next question I have is, so how much water are we getting out of Roberts? Were we getting out of Roberts number 3? How much was capacity?
Mike, you want to come on up?
Yeah.
Just, you know what to do.
Yes. Mike Macias, Utilities Director. Right now, we're producing, I think, one of the operators went out there on Monday. And we're doing 110 gallons a minute, as opposed to, I think we're losing 10 every month or so. which is really poor. We can't seem to catch up, on our wells. What we're doing is we use the Roberts wells to fill up the Sul Ross. And then the Sul Ross, not the Sul Ross, Sunny Glen.
It's okay,
And
you're
this-
working on little sleep.
Yeah. So Sunny Glen, after that, once we fill those tanks up, then we fill up Upper Hill, as you all well know. But we can't, the demand is too high and we can't seem to be catching up. To my knowledge, and I don't know, I think in previous years, it was 300 to 500 gallons per minute at a certain point. How many? 300 gallons per minute. And that was sufficient. But gradually over time, it's been, as John, can you come up real quick, John? I need you up here, man.
And John, if you could please introduce yourself and who you
John
are.
Skinner, so the well used to make, or the pump, was 300 gallons a minute. We've lost the borehole, not lose the borehole. Our casing conditions, as anybody knows, you have metal and water. The well was drilled in the 50s. What happens to metal and water over 70 years? It goes bye-bye. So we can't set the pump any down deeper where the big water's at. We've had to pull it up. We pulled it up 20, went back down 10, went back down another 5. I'm not gonna go any further. We're not gonna lose another $40,000-$50,000 pump because we wanna go down there and try and get another 200 gallons a minute. That's the issue we have right now. We have no casing.
Okay, so thank you, because my recollection was it's about 300, gallons a minute, so,
We were getting 300 this time last year.
yeah, so just kind of,
When it added more pipe this time last year.
yes, so. And my understanding is we've been replacing this pump how often in the last 3 or 4 years?
I'd have to look at records. We haven't replaced the pump in, I think, about 8 or 10 years. We've had to
Okay.
replace motors,
Oh, motor,
lightning,
okay,
stuff like that.
okay.
But last year, we didn't change any pump or motor. We added more pipe
Okay, so,
because we were at the same issue we have right now.
so we have a bad casing.
Yes,
We have no choice but to try and get this thing, whatever we can get out of it until we get new capacity.
yes, sir. So we drill a new hole.
Okay, and we, as a city, consume about 1.7 to 2 million gallons a day, give or take a little bit.
Yeah,
So-
sure.
So Roberts represents 20% of our water capacity to pull things out of the ground. So kind of important.
To
So,
my best knowledge, yes, sir.
yep, no, I looked at the date on that. So that's helpful. 400,000, well, so how much are we dependent upon that well for right now? Is it the 100 gallons or 200 gallons a minute?
Right now, we're at 110,
So 110.
110 gallons. a minute.
So if you shut off the 110, Mike, okay, now help me understand water delivery capacity to the city. West side, I understand is impacted. So that's that plane over there. How is everything else impacted on the other 3 planes?
We gather that, we obtain the other water from Muskies, so we'd be okay on the other parts of the town. This is the part that's gonna be affected the most.
Okay, and how much do you need to satisfy demand
As far as,
on a daily basis? How many gallons?
man, about, what would you say, about
Right under a million.
right under 1 million?
I don't know. You're the one with the records on that.
Well, no, you can't use 1 million a day because the whole city's only using 1.7 to 2 million gallons a day. You got 3 planes that are working, you can put out a muskie, so you're probably talking. If you need,
Half of that, about half of the 1.7, you said 1.7 million?
that's for the whole city.
Okay, now, our pumping system, the way that's all set up, okay, Mooskies is half of the town, Roberts is the other half of town.
Yes,
So just split that number in half and that's what we're looking for.
no, but Roberts, is that the only well on the west side of town?
No, so we have the Robertsville,
Yep,
we have the Gardner.
Yep.
Okay, and then you have Upper and Lower, and I just found out we're no longer allowed to use Upper. But they don't, Upper and Lower does not feed where we need.
and so the other pumps, how much are we getting out of them? The
Out
other
of,
wells?
like the Mooskies field,
No, set aside
Gar-
Mooskies. We know we're good there. I'm talking about the Phils, the Roberts side, the west side.
Roberts 3 is the main one, so,
it's the blood vein.
yeah, it's the blood vein of it, so, Garner, I think is 60.
No,
Okay,
somebody told me we were getting 100 gallons a minute out of it or more the other day. And then, yeah, Robert's number 5, we're getting. I have to look what the pump is that I have in it.
yeah,
And then, well, with the deal with like Robert's number 5, it does great. And then it's like a bathtub.
yep,
There's a garden hose filling that bathtub, and when the bathtub's empty, we get what the garden hose is.
okay,
Then the number 1, Robert's number 1, it's not a big pump. The well doesn't produce much. So we're pulling max on everything we already have in the ground.
okay. The reason I'm asking the question, part of what I heard earlier is a potential solution to meet our needs is to move water from one location to the other location with a fire truck. Has anyone done the calculation about how many trucks are gonna have to move today and whether that capacity even exists?
The capacity we have that comes from Mooskies is where they're talking. Would suffice that as a Band-Aid.
No,
Okay, just a and you're talking a lot of trucks.
well, that's, so my question is,
So it's gonna be nonstop, so we're looking at 2,000 gallon capacity in that tanker that is fit, it's potable water usage. And so 2,000 gallons, I think if I remember correctly, we have 200,000 gallon tanks over there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So 200,000 gallons. At 2,000 gallons a piece, but we do still have roughly, I think it was 270 gallons going into those tanks a minute,
Right.
roughly. So we'd just be supplementing it, it'd be a Band-Aid for sure, but it would help us in this pinch.
It would help you out of a pinch, but you just,
it's
the
not.
truck's not gonna
sustainable.
shut off.
That's kind of where I'm leading to. We cannot expect or rely on trucks to go from one point to the other point to keep us filled. I'm asking questions about,
Right, and
It's just-
James is set up, correct me if I'm incorrect, he has set up a schedule around the clock
yeah,
shifts.
but that's,
Constant.
And he's got us our permit and everything.
Right.
Yeah, we have a permit. That's just the solution so that people, they turn on their faucet.
they got water.
Just a Band-Aid, it's not gonna last.
Okay, okay. Now, relative to the notion about boiled water. What I think I hear is the majority of the city is not an issue. The west side is the issue.
That's correct.
And then, I'm sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, Sol Ross comes off of our west side.
Yes.
We
Yes,
dump
it
into our,
does.
so Sol Ross is included to that.
Okay, so as Sol Ross comes down on enrollment, because graduation is, it's this week.
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday, so Sol Ross comes down dramatically, so that's good news. I would just make an observation. Has anyone talked to Sol Ross about sprinklers yet? Because they're watering like mad.
I spoke with David Creek, or I left a few messages. And I told them that if they could conserve water and not water so much, they said they would do that.
So, hold on, let me back up. I thought we put a ban on watering. I thought it was not a, if they could,
I
it's a
spoke-
shut it
I
down.
spoke with him last week and I said, hey, just, I called Parks Department and told them no more watering. Saw Ross, no more watering.
Okay,
Who else did I call? I can't remember who else, but
well, I'm happy to reach out to David if that will help. I'll just say, David, turn off the sprinklers, period. Okay? Okay, so 'cause that's an important element because they were watering yesterday. Okay, the other question I have is, we ought to talk about what our plan is. How far along are we before we start wanting to fill the pool?
Not till around Memorial Day, I believe, is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
But no, you're opening Memorial Day, you're moving 600,000 gallons into that pool.
That takes what, about a week?
To fill up I don't know how long it takes.
How long does it take to fill a pool?
I don't think maybe a week, maybe like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
So what's your capacity to do that, given where we are now?
That's a good question, and I would say absolutely not. We'd have to hold off on that.
Okay, so that's something we probably want to talk about, make sure we understand about if we're trying to manage water. Okay, so that's do we have any sense of what it costs nowadays to drill a well?
About $1 million.
Okay, so about 1 million, okay?
That's if it goes out on bid.
But
If
it's,
we don't get it out on bid, I can get the price down, but if it goes out on bid, it's gonna be over $1 million. If it goes
Okay,
out on bid, we buff our prices to protect for anything unforeseen, because anytime an unforeseen happens, we don't get compensated.
so I presume, Henry, you're gonna figure out whether you can get a number. This resolution gives you the authority to go do that without having to go through procurement, correct?
That is correct.
So you'll make a business decision about how to go work it. What I think I heard was someone's willing to give you a hell of an offer. You'll figure that out. And that will speed up the process as well, because we haven't got time for the process.
And how long, John, does it normally take?
For me to do this, if I got pulled the gun on it right now, I'd be drilling one day and probably be done with probably 2 or 3 weeks. And then pumping, we'd have to do a pump test, which that takes time through the state. And then I'd have water pumping on the ground before the ditch got dug and the pipeline would be completely installed, to be honest.
You're talking about 4 weeks?
Probably.
But the TCEQ process, I was reading the regulations last night, takes up to 4 to 6 months. to get
Yeah,
permitted.
if we go through the permit, well, when you go through the permit,
we
but
can
with
work
being
with-
in emergency issues.
We
you're
can
allowed
work
to-
with our, yeah, so we can work with our regional office based off of what I was reading last night. To where we can get it, like he's saying, get it tested and everything, get it going, get it hooked up. We can start flowing water while we're working on getting it permitted.
Yeah,
But we need to work with our regional office out of El Paso and make sure that they're up to speed on our current standing. Why we're saying that this is an emergency and have them up to date with every step of the way. Because it's better to, from what I was reading last night, for a case like this, to have them on board with us than them finding out down the road. So.
yeah, because they can actually
Yeah.
go out and turn the breaker off and tell you no.
And that could take it to where by the time he's done and we get pipe over to it, we have a conditional permission to flow water into the city, and then we can still be working on our permitting process at the same time. So we're looking at about a month, month and a half to get water going out of this new well.
First, it's going the other route, which is months.
Right, 4 to 6.
Yeah, half a year.
So, and part of the reason I asked is one, just for general information and help my own brain, but also thinking about, we're gonna come out of this meeting having made a decision about going forward. I believe we need to be very deliberate in the PSA we send out regarding this to all of the residents. Because, and Henry and I had this conversation, we didn't do our self-service the first PSA we put out. And in my mind, Henry, when you talk about not only what it is we're doing, but give people a sense of the timeline about what the implications are. And you might want to get a couple more sets of eyes looking at it before we send it out. So we're all in sync about what that looks like, because we all got a bazillion questions. And we got hammered on Facebook in terms of what was going on. By the time people understood, hey, we got a well, it's broken, we gotta go get the doggone thing fixed. People said, okay, got it. But it took a lot to be able to work our way through, and I think we need to consider. Hey, my presumption is we don't see a risk having to boil water, okay? We do want people to follow the stage 3, whatever it is called contingency, condition 3 requirements. We need to talk about what we're doing in the short term. So those, to me, those are some really important items to be able to walk through. The next thing I'd raise, and I know I've been around for a while, in my opinion, we need to talk about the sort of data we look at to be able to, in my mind, help you, Mike. It used to be, we got a quarterly report from a city council standpoint on well production capability and capacity. There have been a bazillion leadership changes at city manager, in your job, across the board, and we as city council are blind. Okay. And in my mind, it's time to reintroduce those, because I tell you, when I came on council in 2014, I knew well production, I knew well depths. As city council member, it was easy to step. It's a simple boom, 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 boom. We don't see any of that stuff now. And we live in the desert, we always have the discussions, but we're kind of blind on that. So I do think now that you got a new part of your leadership team and the utilities department, that ought to be something, because I know you track that. It'd be nice for us to see it on a quarterly basis, no different than finance.
Yeah, Rick, that's fair. I think that's fair to say. And I think it's knowledge is power. And I think from moving forward, Kira and I will work diligently to give you that information quarterly.
Yeah.
That way you're not blindsided, neither nobody in Alpine is, and we'll start doing that.
Yeah, and it's not about being blindsided. My opinion is our job is to help you make sure you have the resources necessary to go forward. We're having discussions, getting ready for the budget coming up for fiscal year 27, I guess it is, as we start, 1 October. You need money, okay? Frankly, I don't think any of us had any insight about the challenges you faced with that well out there. And as the mayor pointed out, well, I don't know that anyone knows what we face on the other wells. How old they are, what the issues are, what lifetimes are. We really understand our wastewater treatment plant because we've been through all that stuff. We understand water infrastructure about getting it from the wells to our tap. There's been zero data about well integrity and well status and well performance capability. And I think that just helps the dialogue as we think about allocating the resources that you need to get your job done. So all the residents get what they want. So we got to figure out how to help that. And you can help us by sharing some data with us. Is that fair?
That is fair.
That's all I got, Mayor. Thanks very much.
Councilmember Ricketts, anything else?
I don't have anything.
Councilmember Escobedo? Councilmember Tio? Okay. As far as age, the wells are all 60+ years, correct? Maybe older,
Yes, ma'am.
because they're 50s and 60s.
Yes, ma'am.
There we go. All right, are we ready to vote? Let's vote. Thank you, gentlemen.
Aye.
Aye.
City Secretary Council voted unanimously to approve the Texas Government Code, section 551.045, resolution declaring an emergency related to municipal water supply failure, authorizing emergency procurement pursuant to Texas Government Code 252.022, and authorizing the city manager to take all necessary actions to protect public health and safety, including repair or replacement of municipal well infrastructure and related services. All right, council member comments. Any comments? Comments? Okay, city manager, any comments?
No, thank you for the support, and we are looking to get an analysis of all our investment in the water system through USDA and our engineers that you all have approved and procured. And we'll be probably coming back soon. And that's I think it's a $60,000 grant to get that approved and get that study done for you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and with that, we are adjourned.